Welcome to the Empowering Insights podcast, where Grace and Dawn explore energy and identify new ways to support the enhancements of our well-being. Join us as we navigate the globe to engage in eye-opening conversations with esteemed guests, sharing their unique insights and discovering valuable techniques to propel your life forward. In each episode, we will share 3 empowering takeaways, providing actionable resources to recharge your momentum and support your overall well-being. Join us on this transformative exploration to discover the expansive potential of energy in supporting your mind, body, and spirit. Elevate your life with the Empowering Insights podcast. Welcome to the Empowering Insights podcast. We're your hosts, Grace and Dawn, and we are ready to bring you on another incredible journey into the realms of healing energy and holistic well-being. The Empowering Insights podcast was born from our shared passion for exploring the incredible world of healing, energy, and holistic well-being. Our mission is clear: to explore amazing people, places, and perceptions from around the globe. In this episode, we learn about Iman Hassan. Iman is a certified PCC trainer from ICF, International Coaching Federation. She's an energy healer and life coach in many modalities, such as Enneagram, Law of Attraction, Emotional Intelligence, Timeline, and she is the founder of Aum Meditation Center. Welcome, Iman, to the podcast.
Welcome. Thank you for having me here today. I'm so excited to share this time with you all.
We are so excited. We're so excited to hear about your journey within the wellness industry and also your understanding of energy and how you use that understanding to support all the people that you support, both at your center and in your life. We have so many questions, so many. If it's okay with you, I'd like to jump right in and ask you a series of questions to give you time to kind of answer. So first, we'd love to hear about your background and what led you to this point in your life experience. Also, what your perception is of the word energy itself and how you see that in life overall, and then how these two cross over in your journey and in energy and creating the center that you have today. It's basically 3 questions in one.
Yes, a long story to answer.
I know, but that stops me from talking and you from share. It gives you an opportunity to share.
Okay, thank you for this question. I will be very happy to open my heart and share these specific points. You know, this is something that is very dear to our hearts, to speak about what you really enjoy and what you really like to share, something that happened to you for a reason in life. I'm an engineer. Originally, I am an engineer, but when I came here, I had little kids and I wanted to work as a teacher. So, you know, you make the experience with them easier. I take them with me to the same school. So I was teaching at that time. After teaching for 8 years, I started feeling that I'm done from this place. I was enjoying teaching so much. It seems that I am a teacher, like by heart, I am a teacher. It's a gift that came with me everywhere. Like if there is something that inspires me, I would like to teach it to others. So teaching was a very beautiful experience for me. But one day I felt that I'm done teaching what I'm teaching in a school for kids, math and science and computer and stuff like that. And I started feeling like a call from within that I was not aware what does it mean exactly. An incident happened with me one day. It was the end of like school for the students, where we teachers go to school without the presence of the students. So I have more space and more time. So every time, every year this happens, I feel something different. When stress gets lower, I feel like more connection to myself. And I feel like strange things start happening. Like, for example, I remember the day when I took that decision to quit teaching and to do something that I don't know what at that time. Every like a couple of hours before my phone rings, I hear it ringing in my ears. And then it rings like a few seconds later. So it was strange for me. What does that mean? I know about spirituality. I know I am a spiritual person, but I could not explain such a specific thing. Why is this happening at that time? Why is it's not happening during the year? So I just like explained it to myself that maybe stress, too many stuff is blocking this energy, and I don't want it to be blocked because it's amazing. It feels something, you know how it feels to have this connection and to know what you know without knowing how you know it, right? It's something
Right.
you
right.
want to understand. So I took that decision to stop teaching, and I told the administration that it's only like a break. Whenever I'm ready, I will come back. They tried to convince me a lot because I am a hard worker. I made like what I do something like easy for them, successful for them. So they tried their best to bring me back to school. And I told them I really need that time, but I was not aware why I am doing that. And there the journey started. Some days I felt lost, like, why did I do that? Let me go back to teaching. What am I doing? I felt lost for 4 months. And then I heard someone saying law of attraction. So I searched through the internet, and I was also new to the internet at that time. I searched, so I fell in love. What is this? Law of attraction. You attract what you want. You are the creator of your experience. So I felt like it's like a new chapter began in my life. And I started searching and searching and bringing books here and there. I remember that I want my family to leave the house. Most of the time, I used to have like 5 books around me. I read something here, something here. I connect dots like that. It was literally something new for me. That was on 2009. I have never heard about energy healing, law of attraction at that time. And the journey started from here.
What did energy mean to you before that word?
That time, there was no definition for energy. I used to understand that it's your personality and your luck. At that time, that's what I understood. It's how, like your personality, how hardworking you are, plus your luck, where you are, the support of other people. At that time, I had a victim mentality. Although I was a successful person in all of the areas in my life, but I did not understand that I had a choice. It's only by luck I am like that. Only because I work hard, I am like that. So at that time, that was my understanding to energy. But for now, after all of these years and after what I did, energy for me is consciousness. And what I know for now, the more conscious we are towards that consciousness, the more positive outcomes in our life we have. But if we are not conscious about this consciousness is always constantly looking for sources for information to be manipulated. This energy, although it's huge and very conscious, but it needs something to manipulate it for the creation to happen. So if we are conscious, we are lucky to create whatever we want, whatever makes us happy. But if we are not conscious, the energy is going to pick information from the house, from the neighbor, from the street, from the society, from everywhere to create scenarios. So after like a year of reading and studying, I found a place to start my journey. I started as a law of attraction coach trainer. Then I continued studying, and I'm still studying. I'm now working on my PhD in metaphysical sciences. I'm also studying unified integrative medicine. I studied lots of things, many modalities in energy healing like Feng Shui, Reiki, timeline, coaching also. I think I studied all modalities of life coaching. And after that, after 12 years of practicing coaching and healing, I had many requests from friends, and I think Grace knows about that. People want me to be a partner with them to open a center for healing and stuff like that. But at that time, because family was number one in my life, like my highest value, I used to think that if my son is at home, my daughter is at home, or my husband is at home, I prefer to be at home. And I was able to do that. I studied everything and I did everything while I am like available in my family. But after that, after 12 years, my son and my daughter traveled to UK to study, and I didn't know how the center has opened. It took a very short time for the whole project to start. My husband was a support. Of course, he's my partner, and he supported me in that, and he did like the biggest part of that. But everybody tells us like the time we took to open and to start and to move the work is significantly very short comparing to what happens in people's lives in Dubai. But I know now it's because the idea is very clear and very ready in my head. It was only waiting for the time for my value to have like the top of the list of my values. When the kids are not home, so I have more time to spend out of the house. So it started and it's working. I didn't start from the zero because I already have my clients, like a big number of people that I know during 12 years. So they are my clients. I started with them and it's expanding more and more. I hope I did not make it very long. I don't know if I answered your question.
No,
That was perfect.
I have a question about that because I have some insight on that process that you're talking about from you wanted it and then all of a sudden it happened. From what I understand about law of attraction, there is that visualization. So
Yes.
when you visualized this, can you share with us literally what you visualized? Because you're very detailed about how you see things when you've shared those experiences. And I think it would help listeners because listeners often use mood boards or they'll have vision boards or, but you didn't do that. And more than what you told me came to happen in such a short period. So could you share that process, that
Yes.
personal, if that's okay?
Of course, it's an opportunity to share with people what visualization really is. Because people think sometimes that visualization is only seeing what you want to experience, like only visual. And that's why most of the clients I see, they tell me, I don't know how to visualize it. Visualization does not work with me. Because they think that visualization is only about vision, only about like creating a mental picture. But it's not that. By understanding what is our strongest sense and using that sense to create the mental picture you want. For me, visualization happens by writing because I am, what do you call this sense? Kinesthetic, because I'm a kinesthetic person. Yes.
Right.
So sensing is very important for me. I understand experiences with like feeling something. That's why writing was the strongest technique I use in my life. And I started writing before, like long time before even starting. I am a person who writes a lot. So it happens to me like every couple of months, sometimes when you just like clean up what papers you have and what notebooks you have. I open my notebooks and I see goals that I'm living right now. Because I write all the time. I remember in 2013, I was writing the goals of this specific year. And I wrote in my notes, it's still here. I kept this notebook. I wrote that I want to have TV interviews like tens of TV interviews. On that year, I was on TV for like 46 times. One of them was in Ramadan. They took me every day. And other times in NBC and Dubai TV, they took me to Lebanon also with NBC, like many TV interviews. I was not really focusing on that. I just like wanted that experience at that time because I know it's part of my growing. It gives me like opportunity to be known more from other people. So writing was my way in visualization, but maybe it does not work for everyone. It's very important for us to understand our own senses. If I am an auditory person, so speaking, even writing works for auditory people. But if I am a visual person, I need to see in details. So by understanding what is your strong sense and allow that sense to practice feeling, understanding, like being in touch with the goal you want, you attract it. Because at that time, you just like intersect with your brain in a way that the brain doesn't know whether you are visualizing or living it. We all know that the only tense that is real is the present tense. Past, future is something that human brain created on earth to understand the experience. But the present tense is the reality. So if I am remembering, planning, my brain doesn't know whether I'm planning or I'm living it, and it will create like the full experience for me.
Yes, if you're someone who is more visual, and so the writing, nothing comes for someone.
It always helps. Even if an auditory person tries to visualize clearly, it will help. But it's not easy for an auditory person to visualize. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
For a visual person, if you tell a visual person, write, he would say, I don't like to write. I never write. If you use another modality for like a sense that is not strong, it's going to help you. But you will not be able to do that. You will not enjoy it. And you know that the more you enjoy what you're doing, it's going to be more true to your brain. It will believe it and will create the experience for you.
I totally agree with that.
Yeah, this is something with, I know, Dawn, you're very interested in the coaching element. And it would be great if you could share that story about one of your coaches, the challenges this coach had with the feedback from a client regarding manifestation and also the, utilizing the law of attraction and making things happen. The one coach whose client was like, we're doing everything and it's not working. I'm being positive. I'm being very positive.
Yes,
right.
yes. I remember now what you mean. Yes. What I do right now, I am hosting a program for the people who studied with me like more than 2 years. I'm doing a program for them to train them to be part of the team of Aum Meditation Center. So one of them, one time she was telling me that my client is focusing on getting like abundance, like more income, more money. And she's sharing with me that she is positive about that. And she has done everything about affirmations, checking on the beliefs and stuff like that. But she believes that she cannot do anything further because the source of income is her husband. So what should I do with her? What I explained for the coach that maybe sometimes people come to us and tell us this, I'm very positive, but nothing is working. Only when they say, but, this is the first sign. The other sign is check on the voice. When the voice is holding rejection or like resistance, you know that they did not reach the state that will allow them to bring what they want. If they are there, they will not even share it with you. It will not be an issue in their head and they will be busy in something else. So manifestation is about alignment, about being the same energy that we be in when we get what we want. Law of attraction states that you attract who you are, whether we like it or not. So people get stuck so much at this point. They don't understand the difference between I want, I desire that, or I am this. This is the point that we focus on in law of attraction.
So what advice do you provide to your coaches and clients when they're feeling frustrated and they're unable to move past a block in their lives?
First of all, if there is a block, it's because of resistance, right? Resistance gets created when people like try and it does not work with them. So they get stuck in a place. They are like in a place where their energy is less than the energy of what they want. So what we do is we use our skills as coaches and our techniques to guide the person to move with their thinking, with their imagination, from where they are right now to where they will be when what they want happen. So for example, in law of attraction, I have a certain technique which is very powerful. I name it the two brains. I support people move from their left brain to their right brain. How? The left brain is responsible for like understanding the problem. And people get stuck in understanding what positivity is. They think that being positive is just like closing your eyes and not seeing where the problem is, which is a toxic positivity. So much people, when they start learning about energy and stuff, and they do that by themselves, they create toxic positivity, which is they start thinking that I have to stop thinking negatively. I have to stop speaking negatively. I have to not acknowledge the problems. What will happen is the emotions are inside, the thoughts are on the surface, and they are not real, and nothing happens. So they create a block, they create resistance. So when you share with people that you are allowed to speak negatively, you have to speak negatively. You have to be transparent and to be true. So you know where do you want to go, because this is how our brain works. The left brain identify the problems, the right brain takes the problem to the metaphysics, to the imagination, to the emotions, and make connection between the reality, which is the work of the left brain by the five senses, to the possibility that I want to take myself there. So that's what I do when people are stuck somewhere. If you speak to them, what do you want? They speak maybe a short phrase of explaining how they want their life to be, but most of the time they feel where they are right now. So taking them emotionally and mentally to where they want to be is going to release the block, and they leave the room having insights about what they have to do differently, or what they have to think and feel differently. Actually, the thinking and feeling, we do it in the session, but they leave with the right energy that will help them do something differently to reach what they want.
No.
I love that. Yeah, I think it's so important to get to the root cause. I love what you're doing. I had a question. I know I come across this at different organizations, but how do your coaches support their clients without taking on their energy during and after a session?
Actually, it happened to me before. When I started this, I remember the first client, I made a Reiki session for her. I got cold for 10 days. I was very sick, fever and cold and stuff for 10 days. She was very tired. I was very compassionate with her. I gave her so much energy. And then I got sick. What will happen in my life? Will I just like keep attracting this all the time? I searched a lot and I asked a lot until I realized that it's a decision you make in 1 second. That like after the session finished, that just like you take yourself out of that energy. Whenever you catch yourself thinking about that person, you be aware of that. Actually, if you ask me what is your daily game, my daily game is just being aware of my self-talk. That make the biggest change in our life, when you start like realizing how you are thinking, in what way you are giving yourself information. You started being more in control in your life. So like my coaches ask me the same question over and over again, and every time I tell them at the beginning, you need to have your own rituals to cleanse your energy. For me, I don't believe so much in the rituals. I believe in the intention and the decision. But practicing the rituals is going to emphasize the intention of I'm separating my energy from the other person. So just like wash your body before you go to sleep. When you go to sleep and you realize you are thinking about what happened today, you tell yourself, I disconnect. I tell them, just visualize a scissor that you are cutting all the cords and you becoming yourself only on that bed. Separate yourself from whatever thoughts and connections, emotional connections with others, until you make it like easy, clear, just like random. It happens like that. The person left the room. I was with my heart all the time in the room. When the person leaves the room, I just like separate myself. That happens with intention after practicing and understanding the difference between being attached emotionally to the person or being professionally supporting the person.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I know one of the challenges as a coach that many coaches I've talked to have seen is that often when somebody comes to you in pain, or dealing with something that causes them pain, they usually find a person to blame it on. So it's my boss, it's my husband, it's my mother. How would you recommend to a coach, somebody starting off, to bring the conversation back round so that what you have recommended here, that understand there is, and I feel the same way, that with energy, it's very important to understand what you don't want, what you don't like, what doesn't
Yes.
feel good, so that you
Yes.
can create what you do want. Because if you just, oh, I want what I want, you're ignoring a whole part of it that's causing a challenge. But getting back to the question, how would you recommend or advise your coaches to deal with an individual who keeps coming back and pointing all of their energy into something they're not happy about one person or one thing?
It's very important for a person who comes to a coach to feel that I am totally understood, welcomed, accepted the way I am, right?
Right.
This is it's a very important part of the coaching practice. It's an agreement between these two people. Me as a coach is not going to judge you or even advise you. I am only going to provide you with the tools, questions that will support you in your journey to open up and to just like disentangle what is going on in the head around a certain thing. For example, if someone comes with that blame or that energy towards somebody, so by asking certain questions, the person will start realizing their own role in this relationship. Our main focus is to guide the person to understand that it's not only one party, it's me there. Okay. The second level is to support the person understand that I have a choice. If I want that person is angry at me, or that person is bullying me. So it started from him or her. Now, before it reaches me, I had a choice. At that space, at that time, I still have a choice. Do I want this to happen, or I want to use my own choice by just like making the experience differently? I can either absorb the energy or create something to reflect the energy or to heal the energy. It's up to the level that this person's consciousness is able to absorb. Because some people, if you tell them just heal the energy and love the person, they will get angry at the coach
Right.
at a certain point. We don't speak this way from the beginning. We don't start speaking about energy healing and love and stuff like that from the beginning. We have to have that smart sense. Where is the person right now in their consciousness and their suffering in a certain story, and we have to take them slowly, gradually to a certain point. And we don't want to give the advice. We don't want to do that to the person. We want them to reach that point by just like every time, every session, with every question.
On a daily basis, on every day, are there 3 practices, and I'm saying 3 to simplify, but 3 practices that you would recommend every morning, whatever the situation is, to get anyone back on balance?
Yes. When people come to me for a package of sessions, like after the first session, I give them a paper where I ask them to do certain things. In these practices, my goal is to engage their body, their mind, and their emotions to elevate the state where they are. So first I ask them, like, in the early morning, whenever you feel that you wake up, just sit down in your bed. Sit and lift your shoulders, lift your chin like that, and create like even if it's a fake smile, just do it. Because when you do that, and I let them do that in the session before they leave, so they feel the change. So when you do that for a minute, serotonin and other like healthy hormones are going to start flooding in the blood. So you created a positive state, even though nothing changed. But you just like give yourself permission to be in a good state where you can see clearly, you can plan to your day, you can make choices from a higher state of consciousness and energy too. After you do that, just like take several deep breaths, okay? And every step I explain. After breathing, what will happen? More oxygen will come to the brain and the state of the brain is going to change, and the brain is not going to be able to like dwell more on negative thoughts. Now, after that, in that state, now if you plant your seeds about what you want in that day, what is your intention, how do you want your life to be, your brain is going to accept that because you are in a relaxing state. But if you just like wake up in the morning and you started affirmations, no, your brain is not going to accept that because it's not in the right state. So this is something I ask them to start their day with. It takes them like less than 10 minutes, but it creates a big change. So understanding that we have a life force, that if we are full of, we are in a perfect state. And if the life force is little, so we are depressed, we are sick, we are creating problems, we think that like the world is collapsing, while it's only because the energy we have is little. So they start their day like this. And before they go to sleep, I just like raise their consciousness about do not take everything with you to the bed. Create a 5 minutes of practice to raise your vibration before you go to sleep, but in a feminine energy, like either by being grateful or by like maybe a prayer or sending love to yourself. Just do not plan for the other day at that moment. I teach people that in the morning, it's better to use masculine energy, the energy that moves out. So we create with it experiences of success, money, and something that we want to achieve. When you go to sleep, you want to also like resonate with the universe. Use feminine energy like gratitude, love, even healing can happen in the evening. So these practices, being in control in the morning and before you go to sleep, is the experience between these 2 points is going to be right. These are the most important practices that I share with my clients. For me, myself, I also in between understand that understanding ourselves is going to help us pick the right tools for us. Some people have very strong physical energy. So in the morning, maybe they don't need to exercise. They need to make sure they are relaxed. So practice relaxing.
Right.
Some people they don't have so much energy. They feel weak in the morning. So they need to exercise. So also by understanding who we are and picking the right tools for ourselves to maintain a high level of energy or life force is going to let us move freely and successfully during the day.
I completely agree with that because I have 2 people I've worked with for years, and one of them gets physically ill when she exercises. She's like, I walked. I thought that would clear my mind when I get stretched. And she's young. She's very young. But it reacts to her in a way where it stresses her body more because she uses her cerebral and her mind so much in her work that putting any more strain on that, and you're right, the mind, the body, and the soul, it wasn't balanced. It was off balance. So I agree completely.
So you need to know what you need, because you need to have that
Exactly.
masculine energy in the morning and that feminine energy in the evening. So, but you need to understand what part is strong, because if you get stronger, it might create something. For example, people with physical energy, the best resource to learn from is nature, right? So if you just like resonate with nature, what happens during the day, if you become in the same frequency and the same resonance, you be as healthy and as organized, just like nature.
Beautiful.
It is beautiful. I'd like to get insight from you on Enneagram. I've always been interested in that. And I know it's used as a base for understanding personalities and integrating personalities within business. But if you could perhaps clarify what it is and how it can be used in business and also in personal to create a calmer environment for individuals who use it or identify their Enneagram number, that would be great.
Okay, sure. So Enneagram is a technique that gives us information about our personality. The technique states that each one of us is one out of 9 personality types. The beautiful about this technique is not only a personality technique, it's a typing technique, it's also spiritual. It gives you more insight about the characteristics of each personality from a spiritual level. So by knowing which type of the 9 types you are or someone is, you understand the triggers behind their behaviors, the reason behind what they do. So maybe you like to socialize and I like to socialize and don't like to socialize, but there is a certain trigger or reason behind why we do that. Some of them, we want to be social because we are scared to be alone. So we feel more safe around people. Some people, we want to be social. Maybe they want to be famous. Okay. So the reason or the trigger behind a certain action people do clarify what is the life that this type of people can create. Okay. So by knowing which type you are or someone is, you know what can this person develop as traits under stress and what they can develop under power or positive energy. And the lock that will open up the way from the stressful state to the empowered state is a blind spot. So every type of these 9 types have a blind spot. If they realize it and understand it, they move themselves from their traits that they create under stress to their traits that they create when they are empowered. Is that clear?
No, it is. Where do you feel this is the most useful? In a work setting, in a relationship setting, or how do you see this best used?
Actually, it is powerful everywhere. Wherever there is relationships, this is very important and very helpful. So as a mother, by understanding the differences between your kids, you will not force your son to be just like his brother because his brother is doing this, you have to do this. You will understand why is this one like so good at football, and why is this one wants to sit for a long time doing stuff on his iPad, for example. And you just like provide the right environment and the right tools and techniques for each one of them to feel free to expand their own uniqueness. So even at work, it's amazing at work. If there is a team and you have all the personalities, there will be energy. There will be a flow of each personality is supporting the personality that comes next. While most of the problems at workspace is that like the leader is under stress and they are giving the same task to many people without taking in consideration the differences and like the blind spot or the strength point or the weaknesses. So the Enneagram does not put you in a box, but it shows you what box you are in. It shows you what can you expect from yourself, what careers you will be successful in. Gives you also from the features of the face. You can figure out this person is what type, and you can just like know how exactly to communicate and to empower the other person. So the main thing we take out of Enneagram, personally, self-love increases because we stop judging ourselves after understanding ourselves. And in communication, you will be able to understand the person. So you know how to empower the person, you know how to communicate with that person based on what they prefer and how they understand and how they respond.
That's very clear. I know you mentioned about work and then a boss and, you know, that dynamic between boss and employees. what would you recommend being a leader in the wellness industry to perhaps a corporation where there are leaders who say it is a weakness to support everybody's need and personality, and oh, if somebody's sad, or empathy, and you've seen this, empathy is not business structured. You've got the KPIs, you have these things, that measurements, but now we do see a pivot where people are saying you have to bring wellness and integrate it into a company structure to make it more effective, even financially effective, where you have less turnover. So for you, what would you say to someone who is very structured in the mindset of old corporate?
Yeah, there is a study that was done to 700 companies that are very successful and very famous and very wealthy. So what was the reason behind their success? And the study found that these companies train their people. They make training courses. And what was the most important course, or the course that was given the biggest credit to help the companies to get successful? The course was emotional intelligence. From that on, those companies started making an emotional intelligence test for every employee they want to hire. Why? Because people with emotional intelligence can have 5 important traits. First, understanding themselves. Second, they know how to manage themselves. Third, they know how to communicate with people. They understand people's emotions and they know how to get into the hearts. They enter other people's hearts. Fourth, they know how to be compassionate. They differentiate between sympathy and empathy. They don't absorb the negativity from other people, but they know how to be supportive and compassionate with other people. Fifth, they know how to motivate other people. Okay, so they motivate themselves, they communicate properly with themselves, and they also motivate others and communicate properly with others. And that creates an environment of positivity. And money likes this, right? Money doesn't like stressful people. Money is energy like anything else. So deals will go smoothly, new opportunities will show up, a flow of money will show up where people are happy, communicating, don't feel threatened, don't feel shy, don't feel like they don't know how to communicate. So now I think everybody knows right now that if you want your business to grow, make your people happy, aware, and they communicate freely and happily too.
That's wonderful. It's exactly what's needed. Do you see any trends in the next few years in society that the wellness industry can help to bring a balance to? So, for example, many people consistently mention about social media and the stress that it has with not just young adults, but adults in general. Do you see something that the wellness industry is doing now and that you're doing that could potentially lighten that challenge or that issue in the future? Yes.
Yeah, actually in Feng Shui, they say that in the coming 20 years, there is a new energy that started this year, which is a fire energy. And because fire is the energy of glowing and violence at the same time. So we need wellness so much right now because we need to balance ourselves and to calm ourselves, to not to resonate so much with that energy when it gets so much violent or how do you say that?
Volatile and chaotic.
Yes. But at the same time, now everybody, as you see, they are creating their uniqueness. Now you will see even more and more people being their own businesses. They are creating their own businesses. It will be even more, right? But who will have the opportunity? The most unique and talented person. So because the consciousness is rising more and more, so people are going to reach a state of transparency where the uniqueness will show up. Being unique is not something very hard, but it takes the person to be transparent and to take their skills from the inside to understand their life purpose. It's not only about business and social media, it's about that growth in consciousness where people, they understand that it takes them to go inside and to be more free and more open to themselves and more connected to the higher energy to bring their uniqueness from inside. So more wellness work is going to be needed right now. People now understand that it starts from inside. But how do I find what is inside? People are in need also to challenge themselves to bring their own uniqueness to the surface, right? Because now, as you see, everybody is a life coach and everybody is a healer, but few people are really working in a unique way where they can affect people's life and just like support them in their journey to growth.
So it's about people actually finding their true unique gift or talent or way of expressing.
People will need to, they start from their need to just like be more famous in social media or in their work. That will intersect with their awareness of, I need to be transparent. I need to really be unique, not only faking my uniqueness, but it's not going to work. There's a study that showed that people before used to click 4 times before they buy a product. Now they are clicking 6 times. Why? Because they are more aware and there is more also like competencies between, like there's more offering for them and they have more awareness about what they want. So that specific idea will push people to work more on themselves, to relax themselves even more, to take their uniqueness even more, and to understand themselves even more. And that is wellness work, right?
It's wonderful. I think we are coming to, unfortunately, we're coming towards the end. So I want to make sure I throw in a bunch of questions, rapid fire questions for you. Something, this is trivial, but I find that it often shows insight about individuals. Do you have a specific quote or book or anything that when you think of being happy or thinking of being inspired, do you have something that inspires you or a quote that when you think of yourself, you say it?
Many things. Something that comes in the experience. I started with a quote that says, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you are right. I started with this. It was like a new information for me.
Exactly.
This one. Also, the first book that I read and I went deep in it was The Amazing Power of Deliberate Intent for Esther and Jerry Hicks, if you know about them. I think you know about them. What else? Also, I read a lot for John Assaraf, and I just like watched lots of his work. I like the energy of like inspiring and moving that energy up. And also in one of the practices that I practiced before to discover myself, I knew that I have that energy or my life purpose is to support people align themselves with their own higher frequency. So everything that brings that to the table, I am so in love with. There's also a couple of books that I really love for Pam Grout. Her name is Pam Grout. The books are E Cubic and E Square. Have you ever
Love
heard?
them?
Yes, they are amazing. This is what I exactly mean. Creating a practice and repeating the practice that takes you to a better state, to a positive state, until you create a habit of feeling good. This type of thing that not everybody believes in, but I totally believe in, that even though we have traumas or stuff like that, but if we are strong enough to create a daily habit of feeling good, that habit is going to create healing. It will change, because in one moment we can be either like feeling good or feeling bad. So if we practice feeling good repeatedly, this is going to manifest in our body and our mind and our reality too.
First of all, I want to say thank you so much. Your calming energy is just contagious and is inspiring to me. Thank you for sharing all of this information. I know for Dawn, would you like to ask?
I would love to know an empowering insight that you have experienced before we go. In your life or your experience in business, like what's been an empowering insight that you can share with our audience?
A day by a day, I just like that specific thing is growing with me more and more. One time in one of my meditations, I heard something in my head telling me that God wants us to be transparent, so we deliver or we transmit his light to others. And every day I understand this specific sentence like in a new way. And even when I just like speak to other people, I remember this specific thought, and I use it up to the topic that I am discussing with the person. In what way I can be more transparent today? In what way I can like allow God's light to go through me to others? And you find like lots of answers every day. Being transparent with ourselves starts with accepting our emotions and understanding where they come from. You find at the end that you're not only talking about spirituality in a woo-woo way. There is science behind that. There's physics and math laws that are applied to our soul and to our body and to our reality. Just like connecting the dots is creating that transparency state where we become like a source of light to others too.
That is absolutely beautiful. So where can people learn more about you and your center?
Our center is located in Dubai. Our Instagram page is aum.369, aum.369. So the name of the center is another story. If you notice, it has like similarity with my name. I was not aware of that when I was creating the name of the center. I was not aware with the similarity with my name, but you know the meaning of Aum, the sound of the universe.
Mm-hmm.
So aum.369 is our Instagram page, and it's our website too. Aum.369 is our website also. In the Instagram, they will find the WhatsApp to contact the center if they want any service. That is most welcome.
Well, thank you. This has been very insightful for me, and I'm appreciating you being here today with us.
Thank you. Thank you. It was very good to see you today and to see Grace too. Thank you so much for having me today.
Thank you, Iman.
Thank you.
All the best, and cannot wait to talk to you again and hear updates. Because
Absolutely.
You are manifesting, so we know things are going to start happening every day. So looking forward to talking to you again in the near future.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you, Dawn. Have a good night.